Hello everyone, you're listening to a Coffees with Toffees podcast. I will be your host Flubb, and this is the Flupdate. As always, we have a great show for you tonight. There's a lot of interesting things that have happened this week. I kind of introduced them to you last week in general and kind of guided you through the process of what I would be talking about. So we have team transfers that are happening once again. I feel like this is the season of team transfers because the roster lock is still not open. Oh, it's still open before TI, and I feel like whenever I have my show now, I'm just gonna have season of roster lock, and just whenever TI comes up, I'm gonna have plenty of content anyway, or majors come up. So there's always gonna be a team transfer spot, just so that you guys can always stay up to date on whatever player has switched out of teams, because that's kind of the hardest thing to keep track of in Dota, and kind of keep you guys up to date on what's gonna happen in the tournament, so you're not like, oh wow, why is Demon on this team, or why is Bone 7 on this team? Well, I'll have it for you here. And then we're going to talk about the Summit 7 qualifiers. We're actually going to go into the Epicenter qualifiers as well. And I'm going to talk a little bit about a host that needs some help, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit later in the show. But it's kind of important, and I generally don't like to talk about things besides what's going to help you in Dota or what's generally happening in tournaments. But I think that this is important enough for it to be shared on my show for sure. So without further ado, let's start off with team transfers, because that has to do with basically everything that I'm going to be talking about tonight. So let's go into, at first, Cloud9. Even though they formed only a few months ago, only like 6 or 5 months ago, they have now disbanded. So Cloud9 is no more. Sorry all you Cloud9 fans out there, but your team is no longer. We have Digital Chaos. They have now dropped Demon, and they have now gained FoREv. And Bulba has now switched basically into where Demon was playing, and FoREv has taken over the offlane. A very great change, and they have been doing very well because of it. I think that it's always sad to see someone like Demon go out of a team. I feel like he is he's kind of an OG, obviously he's an OG player, not OG player, an original player that has played Dota and is very well known. So he has that like pull from Dota, and he kind of gets people excited. But in general, he's just isn't as strong as a lot of the talent is nowadays, and it's kind of hard for him. I think that he's still a very genius mind. He has a lot to offer, kind of like how Bulba was, and I think that's why Bulba and him worked well together on Onyx. But I feel like they had too much probably going on at once on that team, and they're probably too similar. So I think it's a very smart move. I'm glad that they made it, and it seems to be working out for the best. Mag has now joined Team Mineski, so I'm interested to see how that affects Team Mineski and see where it goes from there. It's been kind of rocky still, but you know, it's still pretty recent. It's only this week that it's happened, so we might see something much better as time moves on. End has now, just straight End, he has moved from the playing on Vici Gaming, and he has now moved onto as a sub. While Hal from Team Newbee has actually replaced him on the team, and they've kind of switched up the team from there. So End is just kind of taking more of a side spot into the game, and kind of taking that more of a, okay, we're gonna still have him on the team, he's still a valuable member, but we need some extra talent, and we can't turn down Hal from Newbee, because obviously Hal is a very good player. Elements Pro Gaming has now picked up Pingvincek. I know I'm probably butchering this guy's name, but I haven't heard his name said actually. So I haven't seen very many Elements Pro Gaming games in general, so it's kind of new, and hopefully I'll have it down if he switches a team next time. Midas Club Elite has dropped Nedbone and Sooths. So they were kind of recently formed team once again, and I'm a little disappointed that they've dropped people already. You have to feel your team out, and you can't just drop people because they're not working in that current position. You could have them switch around, or maybe, I mean, if they had actual issues of like the players were just generally playing bad and they were kind of bringing down the team, then I totally understand where they're coming from, and you shouldn't have that on a team. We have, and that kind of ends up the team transfers. We have a lot, though, to talk about on the tournament side of things, so I'm going to try to run through this as fast as I can. We got on the Summit 7 qualifiers, and the American results, they are currently being finished right now. But they haven't finished most of the games, and the only ones that's going are the grand finals. So SG Esports have gotten 4th, Thunderbirds have achieved 3rd, and DC and Team NP are in the grand finals right now. And actually, currently as I'm talking, they're on game 3 right now. DC came in from the winners bracket, and NP came in from the losers bracket. So makes a lot of sense for what the results are right now. Right now they are currently 2-0'd in this part. The new team has been mixing up really well for DC. It's been great gameplay so far. They've actually haven't lost a game in this tournament yet. In this particular tournament, they have not lost yet with the new lineup. And currently they are 2-0, like I said, in the best of 5 finals. And in that 2-0, they have that second game was really hard fought. NP gave them a hell of a run. It was like 75 minutes to 80 minutes, somewhere around there. And it was long fought battle because they had megas for like the last 25 minutes of the match. Pretty insane. If you didn't see that, I would go rewatch that game at least. It was a crazy back and forth. Abed Meepo on top of it, which is awesome. You know, he's always a great player on that Meepo, and really, like, he was a great player, and he did really well, and he created a lot of space and did a lot of different things, and got a lot of tower kills and things like that. But it was great play from every member of each team that made it happen. It's just fun to see the players play what they're famous for. Alright, the Chinese results. They're a little bit more ironed out. We have Invictus Gaming getting 4th, EHOME getting 3rd, LGD Gaming getting 2nd, and CDEC Gaming getting 1st. I'm sorry, CDEC Gaming getting 1st. Most of the games were really hard-fought matches, and in all the series, most of them went even 2-1. Even the finals went 3-2, and that's very, very unlikely to happen. A lot of times in Dota, even if there's a best of 5 finals, a lot of times they're going to have 3-1, 3-0. Generally, it's very, very rare to have it go 3-2 and to be as hard fought as it was. So really, all of these games I would suggest watching in general. I think it's impossible to choose a favorite game because there's just so many good games from these different series. And just watch. I personally like CDEC. They change stuff up every now and again. They throw in a new pick that I don't really expect. So kind of watch their games. They have a lot of fun, and there's a reason why they got 1st. So the Europe side results for this tournament: Mouse Sports got 4th, Alliance got 3rd, Team Empire got 2nd, and Navi got 1st. And that was actually, this tournament was pretty interesting all the way through. There was a lot of different back and forth. The Alliance versus Navi game was actually in the winners finals, and I feel like Alliance threw both the games. Like, everyone's commenting about it, and it really was kind of a throw. There was some plays that were very mismanaged. Loda played a game where he was playing the Naga Siren, and they had Naga Siren, Enigma, they had Naga Siren, Enigma, and a lot of other players that, like, wombo comboed CM, and they screwed up the Naga Siren ult. Very simple thing to screw up whenever you're a new player or you're on a new team. But these guys have been playing for a while, and I mean, these guys are all professional players. Like, Loda's been playing since you know, TI3, TI2, maybe even longer than that. And yeah, definitely longer than that. He's kind of an original Dota player. So the idea for him to be able to screw up that bad was kind of big fault, and it was kind of a bad decision making calls. A lot of their games, I found that their calls and their decisions were which just seemed odd. They backed when they shouldn't have backed. Like, there was multiple people that seemed to be calling out shots, because Loda backed a few times when I thought he would go forward, and there's like supports that were really deep in for no reason, trying to guess where they were, even though they had like a smoke break the second game at the Roche pit, and they easily could have taken it if they just went in and done something about it, but instead they like quasi went in and slowly trickled in one by one. So it was a very weird set of games, and it's a tournament. It's in this tournament, I kind of suggest that one because there was a lot of blowouts and a lot of weird situations. Navi played really well throughout the tournament though, and they didn't lose a single game in the whole tournament. So it's hard to be like, okay, they threw the game completely, because Navi did prove that they were playing on a really good level. It just seemed like a blowout, and it didn't seem quite as fun as all these other tournaments that were going on. And there's a lot of other Dota, I feel like, that to be appreciated. But the only one that I would watch, just in case you ever feel bad about screwing up a game or something, and see that even pro players make mistakes, I would suggest definitely the winners finals, Navi versus Alliance. The CEA games we have already talked about. We talked about them last week, and we've talked about them a few weeks before. It's the Clutch Gamers guys. I won't go too much into it except for that. If you want to, you can rewatch my show from last week. So they won this time. Epicenter's 2017 qualifiers. So they happen this week as well. And the American results have Complexity in 4th, IsGG in 3rd, Team NP in 2nd, and Thunderbirds in 1st. So kind of a crazy happenstance here. Team NP is still playing very strong. Obviously, they're in the higher tournaments for a reason, or on these higher qualifier parts for a reason. IsGG has some recognizable people, but I actually didn't expect them to be doing this well. They have really impressed me, and I think these guys did a very good job this tournament. Their games were very interesting, and they were sneaking and sneaking, and there's the two kings on their team, and it's a lot of fun to watch their games. Thunderbirds, no surprise there, they got first, and having Thunderbirds get first, it's kind of surprising. I've found that in certain tournaments they are playing really bad, and they're not playing like their usual self from 6 months ago, or well, it's even longer than that, right? Because I guess they didn't really play that well in the Boston majors. So interesting stuff. There was some interesting picks here and there, but in general I feel like this had a lower quality teams on it. Like, there are some decent teams here and there. I just feel that there's so many good games this week that this is kind of one that you want to skip by as well. It just didn't have the same flash that the other games did, and didn't have like the same taking down and really deep gameplay that the others did. It had a lot of 2-0s, and it just kind of seemed a little boring compared to the other games. Going to the China results, we have EHOME.Keen on 4th. We have Team VGJ got 3rd. We have LGD Gaming got 2nd. And we have LFY getting 1st. And this series was actually really good, especially this tournament was really good. And the series that was especially good was the Grand Finals. And in the Grand Finals, we had LGD and LFY, of course, facing off. Both LFY wins were because of Wombo combo, because LGD drafted Wombo combos. And then LFY chose to pick up Kunkka, and it lessened a lot of the damage potential that they had in their Wombo combos, but also gave them their own style of a big team fight ultimate that comboed with another type of ultimate, and just kind of negated their team fight and hugely impacted their own. Very smart plays. I mean, obviously it's just what the hero does, but when you don't see a hero for a while, especially when Jug and Lifestealer have been so popular, they're just not... Kunkka just doesn't do a good job as a support versus them. And they were able to ban them out, have a lot of impact in their games, and just kind of comboed on top of what they were trying to accomplish with LGD. Obviously, these two teams play a lot against each other, so there's a lot there involved within their games, and a lot to understand what's possibly going on between each match. So it's a lot of fun. I highly suggest watching those games. There's a lot of strategy involved in them because they play against each other all the time, and a lot being done in general. So we also have the Europe results. The Europe results aren't exactly done. There's one game left, and they aren't. I've been trying to find out when it is. Should be sometime in the next day, anytime between now and Monday. But they had it up, and then they took it away on site. So I don't know when the time is exactly, but hopefully if you find out, maybe put it at the bottom of this video to help people out so that they can find it. We have Team Empire, though. They got 4th. Vega Squadron got 3rd. And the Grand Finals, the game which I was trying to talk about, is Na'Vi versus Team Secret in the Grand Finals. And I'm actually very excited about this game. It has Na'Vi versus, obviously Dendy versus Puppy. Kind of a clash of titans there, of the old Na'Vi. Kind of like to see them go head to head. It's a lot of fun. We also have, I mean, they already faced each other, and Secret won over them. So Na'Vi came back through the losers bracket, and I kind of hope that Na'Vi gets that revenge kill on Secret, just because I'm more of a Na'Vi fan than I am a Secret fan, and it could be a lot of fun. I think that this is going to be a series to really look forward to. Na'Vi's been playing a lot better lately with Seneko being added in the past few months, so it's enjoyable. I would choose this tournament to be one of the tournaments you watch. And actually, the one I'm most excited about I saved for last. CEA results. The Southeast Asia results. Happy Feet got 4th. Mineski got 3rd. Team Faceless got 2nd. And Clutch Gamers got 1st. And I've been singing the praises of Clutch Gamers. I think that they're a very strong team, and they have been making a name for themselves by winning both of these qualifiers. The finals of this tournament were especially crazy because there was a lot of different games that I really enjoyed, and I liked their play style in them as well, and their drafting. Amriel, I think I'm saying it right, Amriel, their mid player, in Game 1 played a crazy Storm Spirit that actually ended up with 35 Bloodstone charges. And he was doing so well that he even dived well at certain points. And had, like, he always had a Aegis, he got Regen Rune at crazy times. Just it was one of those games where everything just came to a perfect point for him, and it was amazing. So if you're wanting to watch that Game 1, if you're wanting to learn Storm Spirit, he played an amazing Storm Spirit, and his team as well just gave him all the space in the world, helped him out. It was just fantastic play all around. Game 2 was a loss for them, but they had a really interesting draft in general, and they showed the power of Bristleback, which I was talking about in Brewmaster's draft a couple days ago on Friday. I really like the idea of using Bristleback with the medallion and obviously the Solar Crest for later. It's just its potential. He hits so hard, and he was like 3-hitting people. It was insane, and Quills did so much damage. So if you haven't seen that type of combo, that is a perfect combo for you to get into and kind of see what its potential for a Bristleback nowadays. He still is a pick that you wouldn't necessarily want to pick up first or second or even like 3rd or 4th because of his potential of getting countered very, very hard. He's still a very easily countered hero, and he's only good in the very rarest of situations. But it's a really fun game to watch. In Game 3, Clutch ran away with the game with a simple draft. They had Omni Knight and Troll, and I mean, it wasn't too exciting on the draft side, and it was neck and neck for a while, and then all of a sudden they just like put no brakes on and just destroyed them. Just absolutely crushed Team Faceless. It was a lot of fun to watch. I really think that these guys are good, and I'm going to say it now, I think these guys could be at TI. They have incredible potential. They're still feeling each other out, I think, but man, they have some amazing talent, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen next for them. And a little bit more sad news, as I kind of wanted to say, Shiver has kind of announced something in her Twitch today, I think. Actually, it was today. Yeah, it was today. And she announced that she has breast cancer and that she is not going to be able to go to any type of tournaments for probably a year. So that sucks, and I'm sorry to hear that for myself, but actually I'm sorry to hear it for herself first and foremost. And obviously I normally don't talk about this stuff in general, but there's a lot of people, obviously I'm also reading on Reddit and Twitch, and those are two worst places to go, but even on Twitter people were talking about it. And I want people to know that, like, even though she's in a very nice country that provides her very good health care, which I don't know why we don't, but that's a whole nother topic, the idea isn't that she doesn't need money for this. She's still losing one of her jobs to do this, to basically to treat herself better and get herself to a better point and heal the problem that she has. So she's losing this job for about a year, and she's going to be probably picking up something else, but still, it's not like it's all that money is just done and paid for at this point. And I want people to realize that that's not all that she needs. She needs, you know, support and send her messages. Like, if you enjoyed her stuff, make sure you send a message to her. And it's something that, like, I feel like the Dota community can be really generous about. There's a lot of people and there's a lot of trolls within our community, but at the same time we can really be welcoming and enjoy each other a lot. And honestly, I feel like we owe it to Shiva for giving us all this time and all these different hours upon hours and hours of entertainment, whether being on it as a host or being a general caster, or her Twitch in general is a lot of fun. So if you ever want to support her, go to her sites. I feel like I should have it here listed for her, but I didn't want to generally say it because I didn't get her permission to do any of this. But I really appreciate what she's done, and I feel like I should have said something, so I said it here today. And sadly, I didn't want to end on that sad note, but all good things must end, and we have to finish out the show at this point. So we have, for our closeout, if you guys like the music in the beginning, it is obviously something I've been running the past few weeks. It is from Brass Rebels, and I'll actually turn it up a little bit right now so that you guys can hear it. Bass Rebels, not Bass Rebels. Bass Rebels. And I want to thank them for providing music for guys like me. I also want to tell you guys, if you guys want to help us out, you can subscribe to any of our videos or like any of them, obviously. And you can go to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Toffees_Dota2 to find them there. Or if you want to, you can go to our YouTube channel, Midas Gaming. If you want to, you can give to our Patreon if you're feeling extra generous, www.patreon.com/Toffees. If you are wanting to listen to any of our audio version casts instead of watching it on YouTube or any of these other places, you can follow us on Stitcher, iTunes, or SoundCloud. If you have any questions for me or Toffees, you can follow Toffees at ToffeesTV, and you can follow me at my Twitter at Flupdate. Also, if you have any questions, concerns, casting needs, anything at all, you can always send me an email, crazyflub@gmail.com. Alright guys, well, you have now been updated. And I hope to see you guys this week for the Brewmasters draft, and next week for my new Flupdate episode. Can't believe it's been 20 episodes, and I'm glad for those of you who have been watching it all this time. And encourage people to watch it, just more people in general. I'm trying to branch out at this point, and I think I'm actually going to be starting back up my Twitch stream again. I have officially bought a new computer, and I'm building it right now. So I should be streaming this week, and I hope to get some viewers and get some feedback from that. So, kind of a bonus there to those of you who are listening to this point at the end. Alright guys, I'll catch you next week. See you later.